Where it go?
And I believe we are live. Welcome into Down the Wire. I'm Brian Costa.
I'm Tyler Tucker.
I'm Carter Adams.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke, Carter.
Oh, we already messed it up. God damn, boys. Jeez.
Thanks.
All right. Well, welcome into our Super Bowl preview show, boys. We got a really good hour ahead of us. I mean, we've been up to. I mean, a lot has happened in the sports world since our last show on around Christmas time. I mean, James Harden is now a member of the Nets. Matthew Stafford is on the LA Rams. There's a lot to talk about. We'll be getting into that later on the show. But I think we have to start off, with everything going on Sunday. It's just gonna be an amazing game. I mean, we're gonna be able to see the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes take on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady has now made his 10th Super Bowl. Boys, your thoughts on Brady and just this incredible run that they've been on?
I mean, Tom Brady is the undisputed GOAT of football. Can we just all agree on that? And I'm not even a Pats fan here,
Absolutely. It's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, his run has been amazing. I mean, 10 Super Bowls, and he's about to win 7 of them too. It's crazy, man.
Oh, you got Brady in this game, right?
We'll get there. But Carter, what do you think?
You're already calling your shot. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
What does Carter think? Oh man, dude. Honestly, I want Pat Mahomes to win it. I want to see him raise up his second before I want to see Brady raise up his 7th, I think. But It's gonna be hard to not root for Brady, I think.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'm always been the kind of person never to count Brady out, and I was doing a playoff pool earlier this year, and I gotta admit to you, I counted him out. I actually had the Packers going on to the Super Bowl and beating the Chiefs and winning the thing, and that wasn't really me. At the time, I wasn't really thinking of it being me betting against Brady, and it was more about me betting against the Bucks. And I was just like, I think Brady's going to go out there and do his thing, but I just didn't have confidence that the Tampa Bay defense and all the other weapons around them were going to be able to step up the way they did. But I mean, Brady's come in there and he basically just said, all right, he in free agency, he literally just said, all right, who wants to go to the Super Bowl? You guys do. And that entire team now is just completely gelled into a powerhouse.
Yeah, and can you believe how
they've
veteran players are playing out of their minds? Jason Pierre-Paul and Ndamukong Suh, even Levante David. I mean, he's solid, but he's a veteran. He's up there in numbers. And
Levante David is a freaking beast.
He's an animal.
That dude is awesome.
But we gotta give credit to their defense. What's up?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was about to say they also got some young guys too on that defense. You got Sean Murphy Bunting. He's been a great cornerback for them. I mean, I think, and it's like his second year, I think, in the league, and he came from a conference. I think he came from like the MAC conference, which some Bryant schools even play in. There are some schools that Bryant kind of plays some schools in that conference, and I'm just like, the fact that he came from a school like that and is just a star in the NFL right now is astonishing.
Winfield Jr. as well. He's been amazing for that team. He really stepped up at the safety position.
Yeah. I mean, Brady played against his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just some crazy things going on with that Bucs team. It's gonna be a very exciting Super Bowl. I'm gonna also find it very hard to root against Brady in this because I mean, I actually picked this thing out of the closet. I don't think I had thrown this thing on since St. Patrick's Day of last year when he officially said that he was leaving the team, and I just had this on the shelf, and I was like, you know what? I think it's officially time. Brady's made the Super Bowl. It's time to bring it back out. I mean, it's gonna be incredible. I think it's gonna be an awesome game. I mean, people are already saying that this is the best quarterback matchup of all time in a Super Bowl, and they're putting it above Marino and Montana. They're putting it above, I think, Elway, Montana, a bunch of guys like that. Favre and Elway. They're putting it above. Do you guys think this is probably up there with that?
For sure.
I'd say it's above.
Yeah.
What do you guys think are going to be
just
like the key factors to winning this game, both sides?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Brady's going to go out there and do his thing. I think he's going to be just fine in the Super Bowl. I mean, Brady obviously in the Super Bowl he comes out and he shines, but there are always some hiccups. I mean, in the last couple games he does throw some picks on drives where maybe the team is rolling early, and sometimes he throws a pick that, it may not come back to really bite him that much, but if Brady can avoid some of those mistakes that sometimes come up in those games, that'll be good. And I think the other big thing that's gonna make a difference in the game is how well KC's O-line can hold up with Eric Fisher now out for on Mahomes' blind side. I mean, for anyone who didn't know, he tore his Achilles in the AFC Championship game against the Bills, so that's going to be something to definitely look forward to, or at least look forward and see what happens in this game. Because if that gets exposed by the Tampa Bay defense, Mahomes could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think for me personally, this game is really going to come down to coaching. I think whoever can Belichick one another, because I think you really got to keep the ball out of the Chiefs' hands. And if Arians is able to both establish the run and Todd Bowles can put up the defensive schemes he's been putting out there, I'm riding heavy on the Bucks to win this.
Yeah, that's how you beat the Chiefs. Just keep the ball out of Mahomes' hand and don't let them get their momentum, because once they get going, they do not stop.
Yeah.
Tyler, I mentioned this to you too. Another big storyline I think going to the game now. It literally just broke from Adam Schefter, like before the show started. Per Adam Schefter, Britt Reed, the Kansas City Chiefs outside linebackers coach, and the son of head coach Andy Reid, was involved in a multi-car accident Thursday night that left a 5-year-old child with life-threatening injuries. I don't know too much about that, but I mean, obviously our thoughts and prayers go out for everyone involved in that crash, but this is definitely going to be a big story going into the game, because I mean, going Super Bowl week, there's plenty of distractions anyways, and then when you have something really tragic like this, that's going to definitely be something that's weighing heavily on the Chiefs' minds, and it's going to be a matter of do they come together in this moment and try to rally behind it, or is it just going to be something that's too much for them to kind of think about? That's going to be something that's going to be really prevalent in this game, I think.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see if that plays a role. Like you said, thoughts and prayers out to them, and hope everybody's okay.
Yeah. In some lighter news, the Buccaneers and Brady, this will be the first team actually in NFL history to host a Super Bowl. They'll be hosting at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. I mean, at this point, first, Tom Brady, setting new records and just having all sorts of new accomplishments. It doesn't surprise me at this point, but I'm honestly just astonished at this point that there are still accolades for Brady to be breaking at this point in his career. I think it's just absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Do you guys know who was actually close?
I'm wondering.
What's up, Bri?
The Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings, one game away from doing it.
Minnesota Vikings almost having it?
Yeah.
I was about to say, I know, I was like, and you're probably still butthurt about that.
I still am, for sure.
No, so yeah, but going into this game, I think that the home field advantage is gonna have a significant advantage for Tampa Bay, but with the limited fans, I'm really unsure as to how many true Bucs fans are really going to be let into the game. How much of it is going to be like celebrities that try to get in there and do stuff like that. So I am wondering how much of it is going to be like a legitimate fan base versus kind of just like the celebrities that kind of flock there for the event. That's what I'm kind of trying to balance between, because I think they're having like 22,000 fans in the stands. I think that's what they're having, and that's like a quarter of the capacity. So I'm kind of wondering whether that's going to, really decide anything or not.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl usually is that whole corporate audience, it's not the normal everyday football fans. It's who could shell out the most money for those tickets. So we'll just have to see if it helps.
Exactly. It could help, but at the same time, if people do shell out money like that, there's not really too much familiarity with the stadium for Brady. He's played in it for a year, but in reality, I think Brady's not even going to be thinking about that going to the game. I think it's just going to be a matter of like how the heck do we win this thing. But also kind of going into like looking at some storylines going to the game. Brady ended up beating the Green Bay Packers to advance to this game. He threw 3 picks in that game. But he got the job done. His defense helped him out a bunch. On the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, had himself a pretty good day, but there were some mistakes late in that game and not even that late, but there were just mistakes all across the game that really just cost them in general. And then, kind of after the game, Rodgers basically said in a post game interview that he doesn't know what's up with his future. I mean, they just drafted his potential future replacement last year in Jordan Love. Do you guys think that Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere anytime soon, or do you think that he's just like really just pissed off about this loss?
You go, Carter.
I think he's leaving.
Yeah.
Dude, how long can you put up with it?
Oh, Carter.
I mean, he's had the entire team around for
I
how
think we
long?
lost Carter.
Internet is horrible. I'm sorry. Did you hear what I said?
No.
Oh, you're good.
What'd you
You're
say?
good. Yeah, you said like he's had.
I said, hold on. Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to leave, and it's
Yeah, and that.
what?
Yeah, I mean I think you were kind of alluding to that. Ownership really hasn't done anything for him, and like he's made a lot of requests for him, and he's kind of just been shot down and not really treated like the star that he is. I think Brady was kind of doing some similar things at the end of his career, and Belichick did some similar things where they were like, we're trying to build a more complete team, and Brady was like, come on, just give me some weapons, and they were like, we'll find you a punt returner to throw to again, and that should hopefully work. I think Rodgers at this point is just like, can I freaking get someone? And they were like, oh, is Devin Funchess not good enough? And he's probably like, no, like I actually need offensive weapons that can, actually help this team get further than they've been these past couple of years.
I think honestly that you go, you're good.
No, you haven't gone yet.
I think Rodgers is honestly gonna pull a Favre and come on down to wear the gold and purple. He'll be throwing to Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson all day. He can hand it off to Dalvin Cook. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. Come on down and get us a Super Bowl.
Tyler, that's a fever dream. That's never happening.
I can dream though, can't I?
That's never happening. I mean, you can dream. I mean, I could dream that. I could dream that Belichick also picks up the phone and offers some picks for him too. Because, I mean, we got rid of one old quarterback. Might as well bring in another one and see what we can do we can do with that. I mean, the NFL is kind of reality TV at this point. If Belichick was to go out and bring in Aaron Rodgers and then Tom Brady was able to run it back again with the Buccaneers and have an Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady Super Bowl, but the roles have officially been reversed, and now Aaron Rodgers is representing the AFC and Tom Brady the NFC, and it's coach against player. That would just be like the ultimate like moment where you realize that the NFL is just completely rigged.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That would just be the cheesiest thing of all time.
I do like the idea of a Kirk Cousins Aaron Rodgers swap more than anything though.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I will give you that. That would be interesting to see. How much would the Vikings have to give up though for, like, besides just Kirk Cousins to acquire Aaron Rodgers? You think, Tyler?
Could Kirk Cousins even function at Lambeau?
Probably not. I think we give Green Bay Kirk Cousins and a first rounder. I think that's a fair deal.
Rounder?
Yeah,
I
do.
Matthew Stafford got two. And Jared
That's
Goff.
true.
Yeah, but I mean, think of they both got huge contracts, and they're looking to get rid of Rodgers. I don't know. I think we could do Kirk in a first.
That'd be interesting to see. I mean, I'm wondering. I really do wonder, like, whether. I kind of do wonder whether Rodgers is going to leave this year. I mean, he went on the Pat McAfee show and he cleared the air and he said, like, and he was basically just trying to, smooth things over and say, listen, I wasn't trying to stir up anything crazy. I'm literally just saying, like, the obvious, that in the NFL, like, no one's career is certain. Like when you step in, and he basically said, like, when you step into an NFL locker room, once you're eliminated from the postseason, and you look around and you see those guys, that's the last time you're ever going to be in a room together, most likely. That he said, and it's just like, listen, and he was basically just answering from honesty, and he said, listen, no one's future is certain, and that includes myself. And there's a part of me that kind of feels with that, but I'm also like, you did leave the door open, man. And even after he went on the show, I was still kind of like, is he really gonna be committed to Green Bay? I mean, I'm not too sure. I think that there's gonna be a ton of speculation this offseason. The Rams did offer a deal for him, and the Packers shot that down. I think it was also going to be like 2 first-round picks, and they said, nope, we're not doing that. It's just completely off the table. So it's it's going to be very interesting to see whether Aaron Rodgers does move on from Green Bay, because if he does, whoever he goes to is going to really have to, build up quick, and there's going to be a super team going on. I was honestly joking that if Brady was to win number 7 and then go out, Aaron Rodgers might look, and if Brady was to retire after winning the Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers could go and just like, oh, there's a team of all these receivers down in Florida. We already had Tom Brady go down there. Why don't I finagle my way down to Florida and try to win a chip with them? There was kind of that thought in my mind, but frankly, Brady's already said at this point that he wants to play till he's 50, so that's not happening.
Yeah, Brady's not retiring anytime soon.
Yeah, and then on the other side of the ball, Patrick Mahomes. So in the AFC now, Pat Mahomes faced off against Josh Allen, the Bills, and they actually just dominated them. It wasn't nearly as close of a game as the Packers Bucks game. They just completely dominated the Bills, and frankly, I mean, Bills Mafia, I'm sorry for you guys that you have to go home, but I mean, you got a good team around you. I saw that picture of Stephon Diggs on the field after the loss, and he was just shocked, and a lot of people are saying that he's going to use that as motivation, just have an insanely incredible, he's just going to have a crazy breakout season next year. I mean, what were you guys' thoughts on how handily the Chiefs kind of just like took out the Bills?
It was kind of sad. It was kind of sad. Honestly.
Yeah, I kind of thought.
I had so much hope for the Bills, but
I think personally, the Cleveland Browns were the team built to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. With all that run game, they could have just ground and pound, held onto the ball. So I expected it to be a good game. I didn't expect the Bills to win, but I did not expect the Chiefs to win in that fashion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, frankly, the Chiefs' defense, it is very overrated in my opinion. I mean, they step up when they need to, and guess what? They have Chris Jones up front, which is great for them, and they have Tyrann Mathieu, who's a great safety. But really, everything else in the middle is not that great. I mean, Sorensen, his name's Kyle Sorensen, right?
Daniel.
Like, is it Dan? Yeah, it's Daniel Sorensen. I don't know what I was thinking. But Daniel Sorensen, he's their linebacker. I mean, he's fine, but I think like on any other team, he's not going to really be at the level that he is. It's just that the Chiefs' defense is so bereft of talent that, frankly, like because he's at least decent, he kind of just gets elevated to being that kind of a better player. I mean, I don't think that he's as good as he's made out to be. I think that just the Chiefs' defense is so weak at talent that he kind of just stands out. So I mean, but frankly, they make plays when they need to. So when they're doing that, props to them. But I think that they're going to need to do a lot more in this game in order to withstand the offensive attack that Brady's going to put them under. I think that Brady's going to. I think they have a rookie corner who's been doing well, but if he starts to struggle, definitely look at Brady to pick on guys like that. Brady's, when Brady was with the Pats and when they were in Super Bowls, they always looked for weaknesses to target. So if there's a weakness in that defense, Brady is going to target it, and he's going to thrive off it, just like he thrived off Kevin King in the NFC Championship game.
It's going to be a gunslinging show.
And absolutely. And in terms of Mahomes against the Bills, I also thought it was disappointing that Josh Allen really just wasn't able to pull it out for them. I think that McDermott is going to try to really reload this thing for them, because I think he truly appreciates Josh Allen's talent, and he's going to say and he's really going to try to win this thing for him. So I'm excited for that as well. Going into this game, Brady has a chance to win number 7, and there were some reports that, going into the season, when Chris Godwin was wearing number 12, Brady originally was just like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna make you give up your number," and they were basically like, "Well, what number would you take?" And he said, "Is 7 available?" And basically as a way for him to say that he's ring chasing for his 7th ring. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on just a story like that? I mean, that's just absolutely kind of a GOAT move in my opinion. I didn't actually. I didn't really expect that out of Brady. I mean, in the beginning of his career, he's always kind of had some finesse and stardom to himself, but really up until the Super Bowl 51 commercial where I think it's that Shields healthcare thing where he recorded a version of himself holding up 5 rings at the end of the year. I found that to be that was the first moment where I was like, wow, Brady actually is like kind of taking chances like this. And I think the fact that he was almost willing to put on a new number and have it be the number of Super Bowls that he wants to win was like kind of like a ballsy move in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not totally shocked by him coming out and saying that because he's just so competitive and has that drive. He knew going into this season that he was going to go get number 7. And I mean, more power to him. He's there. He's going to compete for it. He's going to win it. We'll see. But not shocked by it. It's just that competitive edge that he has that makes him so great.
We lost you there for a sec, Tyler. Yeah. No, it definitely is part of his competitive edge, and I admire it. I really do admire it. I think that it's what makes him the GOAT, and I think that if he had worn that, I think the internet would have lost their minds at the fact that Brady literally was trying to call his shot. I mean, he knew this season was going to be a battle between what he could do and what Belichick could do. Belichick with Cam Newton, unfortunately Cam Newton didn't. I guess he forgot that the forward pass existed, so that really caused us to suffer this year. We went 7-9 and missed the playoffs for the first. I mean, we had a losing record for the first time since 2000, and I'm honestly just like Brady literally just went out there and said, I'm just gonna do everything I can to will a team that has just been abysmal to the championship game, and I think that's just incredibly. I think that just shows how incredible he's been over his career. It's remarkable in my opinion how undervalued. Even though we always thought he was the GOAT, I think it really shows like how undervalued a lot of people kind of viewed him. Like even though we did view him as the greatest of all time, that doesn't make a ton of sense, but that's kind of my view of it. I'm just like we didn't even appreciate that enough.
Yeah, like I said earlier, undisputed GOAT for sure.
Absolutely. But then that kind of begs the final question for us of the Super Bowl segment. Who do you guys have in taking home the Lombardi? I know we were kind of hinting at it earlier in the show, but in terms of who you actually have taken it home, Tyler, what's your pick?
I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, the defense has been playing out of this world the last couple of games. I mean, if they can get those huge takeaways from Devin White, and who's a stud, by the way, and they could just Brady can keep up what he's been doing. It looks like Antonio Brown might play. I like to see Ronald Jones back too. He's big in the run game, and Leonard Fournette, another guy that's been playing out of his mind. I gotta take the Bucs for this one.
That'd be freaking huge. Carter, I know you were saying that you want Mahomes in this, but then you were also saying it's hard to root against Brady. If you have to take your pick, who are you taking in this game? Are you rolling with?
Before I say it, is my audio okay? I'm getting.
Yeah, you're doing good.
I'm good. Okay.
Oh yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, awesome. Who do I think is taking it?
Yeah.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I think Brady's time is over, and I think Mahomes is gonna go in there, and I think he's gonna prove that he's a bad man. He's a bad man.
You think he's gonna prove that he's the young GOAT?
Yeah. I think he is.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I said it earlier in the show that I didn't exactly bet against Brady, and that I didn't exactly bet against Brady for the Super Bowl, but I bet against the team. I mean, the fact that Brady's able to take them this far, I'm gonna find it hard to bet against Tom Brady when the game is on the line. I mean, he's done it 6 times already in his career. I can't deny that he's not gonna do it a 7th. I gotta go with Brady, because if I don't, I'm gonna look like every other fan in the NFL who's ever discounted him. I don't think I can do it here. I gotta go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game. I have to. That's me though. But let us know. Let us know who you guys will be taking in the game. I'll be posting a poll on Sunday for this. So when that does go up, let us know who you guys got in this one. In other NFL news, we were hinting at it earlier in the show. Matthew Stafford, the former Lions quarterback who had been there for, I believe, 12 years, has finally found himself a new home. He requested a trade, I think, a couple weeks ago, and very recently we just found out that he's being traded to the Detroit Lions for multiple draft picks and quarterback Jared Goff. McVay is basically calling his shot and is saying that, you know what, we can win a Super Bowl with this guy. We weren't going to do it with Jared, and he thinks that Stafford is a legitimate guy. I mean, I've been hearing guys left and right saying that Stafford is just incredibly underappreciated in Detroit, and that he's so much better than people make him out to be. Do you guys really believe in that? I mean, the guy's 32. He's a warrior, but he does have a ton of injury concerns. I mean, he basically has a broken back now at this point. Plus he, plus I think he had like a broken hand last year. There were a bunch of injury concerns for him. But how do you guys feel about Matthew Stafford? I'll let you go, Tyler.
I'll tell you what. I've been watching us play Matthew Stafford twice a year for I don't even know how long, and I'm telling everybody right now, with that Rams defense, the way they're playing, barring injuries, the Los Angeles Rams next year are going to be a problem. Matthew Stafford is a dog. He's a competitor. He has way more fire than Jared Goff. And I think he's slightly more accurate than Goff, too. And I think a little bit more mobile, too, even being slightly older. So watch out for the Rams next year. They're going to be a problem. Carter?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Matt Stafford is in the perfect place. He's got more than what he's ever needed around him, and I think he's going to do great things in LA.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree with you. I think that Stafford I think that he's in a great place. I mean, he's a tough guy. I mean, I'm hoping that the injuries aren't as bad as they've been made out to be, and maybe how I've made them out to be. But I mean, definitely the accuracy is much better than Goff's. I think that he also has better decision making than Goff's. I know going into Super Bowl 53, there was kind of a rumor that basically McVay would tell him in the headset not only what route was going to happen on that play, but also who to throw to based on prior knowledge. So I think McVay almost kind of viewed Goff as a product of his coaching, and kind of thinks that if I bring Stafford in, and that number one option that I tell him in a play isn't available, he has the mental fortitude to kind of make the plays that happen and matter. Like he can dish off to a second guy or a third guy. I think that is something that Stafford does bring to the table. I mean, yeah.
And I think another part too we got to look at is, like, I can't wait to say Goff playing with a chip on his shoulder either. Up in Detroit, he's probably PO'd about getting traded. And
he's got to be so angry. I mean, yeah. You go from Los Angeles to Detroit, like that's the pinnacle of just like
exactly.
Like that's so painful.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see how Goff turns out next year on the Lions with basically no supporting cast.
This is where these two quarterbacks belong, though. Can we agree on that?
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, one place that Stafford didn't want to end up belonging, though, is as a member of the New England Patriots. It came out, I believe, that he basically said that he would be willing to go to any team except the Patriots. I mean, that includes the Jets, who, they suck. I mean, the Patriots, obviously, this year were bad, but he was willing to go to a team like the Jets. I mean, basically any other team, and he said any team but the Patriots. I mean, what were your guys' thoughts on that? I know a lot of guys are saying that, a lot of people are blaming Belichick. Some guys are coming to Belichick's defense saying that I know Teddy Bruschi went on WEEI radio and basically said he doesn't think Stafford's tough enough for the Patriots. Do you guys think? I mean, what do you guys think of that decision? I mean, I think that a lot of it might have to do with Matt Patricia being brought in to help with Belichick. I mean, when he was working with Belichick in the first place, upgrade it. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, we have unlimited minutes. We can keep going with this. This is awesome. All right, let's go. So we ended up I lost my train of thought there.
Stafford.
But I was going to say Stafford. So when Matt Patricia was with Bill Belichick the first time, he was his defensive coordinator. Now that Patricia is back with the Patriots, we're now hearing that he's now going to be working on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm just like kind of confused, and I feel like I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if Stafford was more trying to avoid Patricia or Belichick based on certain things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Patriots right now, and frankly I don't blame him for maybe having some second thoughts about wanting to come here. I mean, no, now Matt Patricia is possibly working with the offense. I mean, I guess this might say that the relationship between the coach and the quarterback in Detroit wasn't too strong. Frankly, I think that. But what were your guys' thoughts on when that statement came out?
I feel like it's also possible that he saw what happened to Cam Newton in New England as a free agent, and at this point in his career, he just doesn't want to get in way over his head somewhere where he could be putting in less work and making more money somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I agree with that statement. I mean, also just in general, the Patriots were lacking a lot of talent this year. I mean, again, they had a ton of opt-outs on the defensive end of the ball. I mean, Dante Hightower was out, Patrick Chung was out, Brandon Bolden sat the year out, and he would have been a big special teams player for us. It looks like a lot of those guys are going to come back next year. But frankly, the receivers for the Patriots are fairly weak. Edelman's, I think he's like 35, 36 now. And, Jacoby Myers has some promise. I think that he can be a solid number 3 guy at his best down the line. But, they really don't have any tight ends. And I think that, frankly, I kind of understand the sentiment with Stafford. But as a Pats fan, I can't lie that I'm disappointed. I am pretty disappointed that he kind of came out and said that.
I think personally Stafford didn't want to sell his soul to the evil empire, and I think he saw the power struggle between Belichick and Brady and how that eventually ended up, and he just didn't want to be a part of that. Not saying that the Patriots aren't a great organization, they are, but I think there's some cracks in the foundation right now, and I don't think Stafford wanted to be there.
Yeah, one of the dilemmas I know going on with the evil empire, as you're saying it right now, was the fact that I guess a lot of players, like I mentioned, Brewski and some guys coming to Belichick's defense of him being a good coach, and then recently Danny Amendola, now with the Detroit Lions, came out and basically was saying that Tom Brady's the Patriot way, and that's why he's in the Super Bowl and the Patriots aren't. And it kind of looks that if you're an offensive player, you're coming to Brady's side, and if you're on the defensive side of the ball, you're coming to Bill's side. So I think we know where this thing is starting to go, and who appreciates who. So that's been an interesting dilemma that I've seen going up. What do you guys think about, Amendola saying that Brady is the Patriot way?
That's kind of eye-opening. I would have never thought.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people said for a while that Brady's a system quarterback, and now they're saying, no, he was the system.
Yeah, I mean, to your point. Yeah, to your point, like, look at him now. He's back in the Super Bowl. Nothing. Yeah. He went to a totally different team. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and frankly, this year he looked better than ever. I mean, like, the big thing I noticed from this year is that he was. I mean, obviously he's done this in years past, but for the first time in a while, like, consistently he was just like he was finding receivers, further than 10 yards down the field, and I was like, wow, I didn't think Brady was gonna be doing this consistently anymore. I was honestly shocked that it was happening like that, and I was like, wow, like, if Bill had gotten him a guy who could at least go deep sometimes, I mean, it would have been very interesting to see this team this year. If the Stephon Diggs trade, the reports that the Patriots had a chance to match the offer and they didn't. If that trade had happened and Diggs goes to New England, maybe Brady stays at that point, and that would have been a very eye-opening experience to see what Brady could have done with that offense. But then in other quarterback news, we have Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans, may soon to be the former quarterback of the Houston Texans. He's requesting a trade. He wants to be out of that organization. That's an organization right now that is coming apart at the seams. They actually brought in former Patriots executive, Nick, Caserio. They brought him into the fold, and from what I can see, he is very unhappy with that organization. They fired Bill O'Brien because Deshaun was unhappy with him, and he ended up trading DeAndre Hopkins. There's been a lot going wrong with the Houston Texans at this point, and frankly, I think Watson has said that one of his target teams is the New York Jets, and I think the Miami Dolphins. Where would you guys want to see Deshaun Watson suiting up?
New England.
I mean, yeah, but outside of New England, which I don't think Bill's giving up those picks, unfortunately.
We have the cap space for him now.
True, we do have the cap space for him now. I would love to see Deshaun Watson up here.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Deshaun Watson up here, but yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Other than New England, I like Wait, you said Miami?
Yeah, that's one of the teams that he's interested in.
Why Miami?
Well, one, it's warm, and I think two, I think the Dolphins have a lot of questions right now about Tua, and they would end up sending Tua to the Texans.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I didn't put that together.
I think personally, I would love to see Watson in Miami. However, I do not think he's going to be traded this year. I think they're going to fine him for sitting out, and they're gonna hold on to him, and then maybe after they prove their point, trade him next offseason.
You think they're real? You think the Texans are really going to hold their ground there?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, usually the player kind of gets out there. If the Texans hold their ground, I'd be really shocked to see. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Watson is going to end up getting traded. I don't think that. I mean, unless they can rebuild that relationship, I think he's out the door come this offseason. I mean, we still got a long time till March 17th, so I think it's going to happen. Frankly, I don't think there's any avoiding it at this point in time. I think that Watson's out the door. I mean, I saw the guy play in college. He is an electric athlete. I think that, given the right system, he will be the star that he was in Houston when he had weapons around him. So I think, get him in a good situation. The Jets, there is some ideas behind that that I can understand. They actually do have some pretty good receivers on the rise. If he was to go there and they could solidify that defense, you could really build something up there. But my words of warning to Deshaun Watson is, hey, it's the Jets, so be careful because
they thought Adam Gase was a good hire.
Yeah, I mean the New York Jets are where careers go to die. Frankly, yeah. Carter, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was gonna say you also got Josh Allen in the AFC East now, so I don't know how smart that would be.
Yeah, true. I would try to go to a division where, you at least. I mean, obviously you don't want to be like running from competition, but you almost want to put yourself in a better situation to win. So I mean, putting yourself in the AFC East with
what about Tennessee maybe?
I don't know if they're gonna be. I mean, that's the same division. Maybe the Colts though. Maybe he wants.
Oh yeah, I could see the Colts.
The Colts would be awesome for him.
That would be actually really cool. Him and
that's
T.Y.
a very good team on the rise right there.
Yeah.
Him and T.Y. That would be awesome.
And that Jonathan Taylor too. He's been going off.
That would be sick. And then Hines also at the backfield.
Yeah.
That would actually be a really good move for them if they could actually pull off Deshaun Watson to the Colts. I don't think that the Texans would want to be trading within their own division, but if they feel up to it, that would be a scary team out of the AFC.
So Colts, really, if you're listening right now, that's your guy. Go get him.
That is your guy. You decided to pass on Matt Stafford. I mean, I know you guys put an offer forward, but get Deshaun Watson. That is the guy. If you want to go out and win this thing and take on Pat Mahomes, go get yourself Deshaun Watson right now. That is the answer right there. But that kind of covers a lot of things going on in the NFL right now. Over in the MLB, there was actually a big signing today. NL Cy Young winner last year, Trevor Bauer, just recently announced that he's going to be signing with last year's World Series champs, the Los Angeles Dodgers. This was after a lot of mixed reports. I don't know if you guys know about this, but MLB insider Bob Nightingale reported last night that he basically said, "Oh, Trevor Bauer is signing with the New York Mets. He's signing with the Mets," and literally and that report got discredited so quick, and it was there were a lot of things going on. If you actually went to Trevor Bauer's merch shop at a certain time, he actually was selling New York Mets gear of himself, but at the last minute, he released a 2-minute video today, and he basically said that, and he literally suited up in a Dodgers uniform. He said, I'm ready to do this thing. And a lot of people are like, this is the biggest troll move of all time.
That's for sure. And
frankly,
sorry.
Oh, you're good. What were you saying?
No, I want to know, can someone do the math on the cap space for the Los Angeles Dodgers? Because at this point, it's a joke. This is ridiculous.
I think they're about to be $40 million over the luxury tax.
Yeah.
It is absurd at this point. They have the highest payroll in baseball, plus they still need to retain Justin Turner and some other guys. So their payroll is going to be freaking huge. It's ridiculous at what it's going to end up being. I mean, that pitching rotation though is going to be insane. I mean, you got Clayton Kershaw, you got Walker Buehler, and now you have the former Cy Young winner in the National League, Trevor Bauer, just going to the Dodgers. Frankly, a lot of people thought the Dodgers were going to have a good shot of running it back anyways. This makes their team just a super team at this point. They're going to be electric next season, and especially with Trevor Bauer. Is he technically the ace of that staff? Is he the 3 guy? They have so much talent there. I really don't know. They're going to be so good next year. Yeah. So that's something that's going to be really cool to see. Carter, do you have any thoughts on this move or not really?
It's just kind of reminding me of Kevin Durant to Golden State.
Yeah.
Literally everyone is saying that right now. Everyone is saying that this is the Kevin Durant move of the MLB. Everyone is like, people were like photoshopping Bauer's head onto Durant holding up the Warriors jersey. Like, it's making the rounds right now. It's ridiculous. But also in MLB news, this also broke this week. Tyler, I say that you're paying homage to the Red Sox legend Dustin Pedroia, my favorite player ever as a Red Sox fan.
Agreed.
Recently announced his retirement this week. Very unfortunate. Really hadn't played in a major league game since 2019. Throughout his career, he won AL Rookie of the Year. He won MVP the next year in 2008. He was I think a 4-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover. He was an absolute legend for the Red Sox. And unfortunately, his career started going downhill after a dirty slide by Manny Machado, my least favorite player in the MLB.
Also
the guy's
agree.
a scumbag, and I hate him. I hate his guts.
Yeah.
He spiked Pedroia. He's made a lot of dirty plays throughout his career, but now I was actually going through Machado's Instagram, and so many baseball fans were letting him have it the day Pedroia retired. They were just like, we hate you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's easily the least likable player in the sport. Frankly, I'm so mad that slide is now going to be tied to the end of Pedroia's career, and that there's not really kind of a comeback off of that. But I'm hoping that 15's hanging in right field one day. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really too sure if his Hall of Fame chances. That's going to be kind of tough because his career did get cut short. If he had more longevity of it, I'd say he has a shot. But at this point in time, if he can, he's a Red Sox Hall of Famer for sure. Red Sox legend, and I think that when it comes to it, his career is going to be very favorably remembered. I'm going to miss him.
And can we just say, as Red Sox fans, there was no better feeling than watching Chris Sale put Machado down on his knees to win against the Dodgers in 2018.
Amazing.
That was the most saddest.
Yes.
That was the most satisfying thing of all time. I remember seeing that, and I was just so happy. I was beaming. I couldn't believe that happened.
But yeah, shout out Dustin Pedroia. He was pretty much the reason I got into baseball. Pretty much the reason I always wore number 15. So the GOAT.
Yeah, no, like my Instagram handle growing up was Brian K _15 for Dustin Pedroia.
Tyler _ Tucker 15.
Guy, exactly. Like Dustin Pedroia, absolute legend. I mean, favorite player for a reason. I mean, when I was growing up playing Little League Baseball, that was the reason I wanted to be at second base, even though I sucked at playing second base. And eventually I just became an outfielder. But, that was the reason I liked the number 15. That was the reason I kind of wanted to play second base when I was younger. Inspired me throughout all my life. And the fact that he's no longer playing in the MLB anymore is actually crazy. Him and Poppy are now out of the league.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's a new era in Red Sox baseball. Mm-hmm. And then, I'm going to miss Pedroia a ton. But, the final thing in MLB that I wanted to talk about was that in the MLB Hall of Fame, no one was elected this year. Literally nobody. So it's the 9th time in history that this has happened, and it's the first time since 2013 that it hasn't happened. But even back then, guys on veterans committees were let in. So it's like the first time it's been a completely empty class since I think 1960. Now it's a lot of guys are getting called into question for it. Kurt Schilling is kind of getting some. A lot of people are saying that his politics has kept him out at this point. A lot of people are looking at guys like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens saying that their PED use has kept them out at this point. I mean, where do you guys kind of stand with like the PED use and kind of just like and all these different guys like Schilling versus Clemens and like Bonds in your opinion?
I mean, for me, I
don't really think there's an excuse for politics, but I have. Oh, I'm lagging. Tyler, just go.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say.
I think PED wise, like, I don't know. It was something pretty much everybody was doing, and I think, okay, if you want to be at least let Pete Rose into the hall. Like this is it's crazy now. But
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, no.
I think Barry Bonds' career.
A lot of people have said at this point.
I think Barry Bonds' career is so legendary that he just needs to be in at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Pete Rose comment, that's a no-brainer at this point. The fact that MLB doesn't do that is still a travesty, in my opinion. But the other thing I wanted to mention was, I think that in terms of PED use, it's definitely a tough subject. Jeff Passan over at ESPN actually made a really good case for it, though, and he said, listen, the MLB Hall of Fame, it's a museum. If you want to put a disclaimer on these guys' plaques before you let them in, that's something. But guess what? Like, these guys at the time that they played were legends, and you need to and there needs to be some sort of recognition for them, even if you think the way that they did it was kind of inferior in a way. And then with Curt Schilling, I mean, he has very strong political views. I frankly just view it as you kind of just take what he did on the field versus off it. And by the numbers, the guy's a Hall of Famer. That's my personal opinion on it, short and simple. But, people have their opinions. I frankly think that, 14 people leaving their ballots completely blank, going in is kind of ridiculous. But, that's kind of that with MLB, though. Some controversial stories going on there, but then also some sentimental ones. With the NFL season coming to a close, we're going to have to start talking about something new soon, too. Carter, I'm wondering how much you're into this. I mean, you had the game at school when you were playing it. I feel like it'll be cool to talk some UFC come the end of the NFL football season. There are some good fights coming up. But one fight I wanted to talk about recently was the fight between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. I ended up watching that fight. McGregor just got his ass whooped in that fight. Tyler, you were talking about that too.
Yeah, he looked.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he was out of shape, but like he got destroyed. And I don't know much about UFC, but Poirier just took control of the fight from beginning to finish.
Yeah, I mean the thing that turned the fight, in my opinion, was the fact that Poirier was just going at McGregor's legs, just chopping him down. And McGregor even said at the end of the fight, he went up to Poirier and he said, "You broke my effing leg." And he was just like, Poirier just came out and just beat him down. And a lot of people are saying now that that's how you beat Conor McGregor. A lot of people are saying that that's how you do it. And I'm kind of wondering, can the double champ really return? I mean, he's 32 at this point. Obviously not old by age standpoints, but as a fighter, he's seen his battles. Do you guys think that McGregor can come back and reclaim glory, or do you think that he's just on such a rut at this point? It's probably time to hang it up. I'm the biggest fan of Conor McGregor. He's my favorite UFC fighter. Frankly, I think ever since the Mayweather fight and then the Khabib fight and things just in succession after that, it's been really tough watching it. And frankly, I think that it's going to be time for him to hang it up soon. Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We've seen Mike Tyson fight at now. How old is he? He's like 50 some odd. So I wouldn't count McGregor out too soon, yeah. But he needs to start hitting the gym a lot more. And even as Khabib said to him, he needs to get back with his old sparring partners and actually be challenged and then get back to his prime form.
I agree. Carter, do you think McGregor can get back or no?
At this point in his career, I mean, that was a pretty tough loss against Poirier. But
yeah.
He's a fighter. I mean, that guy is ruthless. He's proved so many times that he can do whatever he wants. I think his career's over if he can come back and finish strong one more time.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see McGregor go out on top. I love the guy. I mean, he's cocky as hell, but if he can get one more solid win to prove that he is among the greatest, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see McGregor just have another dominant knockout again. I hope that we can see it, but with every fight path, it looks less and less likely, unfortunately.
But back to what you said about UFC though. I think talking about UFC this upcoming semester more and just watching it, following it more would be awesome. I think
Yeah.
it's a great organization going in the right direction. They're growing. I think we should.
Yeah, no. One big fight that I'm looking forward to is going to be taking place March 27th, and it's going to be a heavyweight championship fight. It's between Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou. That is going to be a battle, and I'm looking forward to that. I know Israel Adesanya is also fighting soon, so I'm looking forward to see him. I mean, the last style bender is a menace in the octagon, so there are definitely some great fights to watch coming up, in my opinion.
Oh, and by the way,
also in the fighting world,
can we give golf some love here?
yeah, what's up?
The tour, the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
we need some golf love here. Come on.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Well, Tyler, you were talking to me about that before the show. You want to mention that?
Yeah, Dustin Johnson actually nailed a dude with a 300-yard drive right in the back, and he just fell to the ground immediately.
That was just an absolutely brutal shot to the head. I was like, wow, that dude just died on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a brutal hit to the head.
Tough to watch.
Yeah.
He fell.
Carter, did you see that clip or no?
No, I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, no, that was a brutal hit. I don't know if I could find the video for it, but actually, I'll try to find the video for it. But Tyler, what else were you kind of noticing from the kind of PGA Tour that you kind of really appreciated?
Well, I mean, right now we're in the midst of the Waste Management Phoenix Open. No fans, so it's not the same at hole 16 with the gallery. But there's a lot of studs coming through the seams. And Jordan Spieth, the big story, he's starting to play like him old self. He actually finished today at I think 8 or 9 under, tied for 5th or 6th place. So it'll be cool to see what he can do. And then on top of that, the Dubai International with like you said, Dustin Johnson actually nailing someone, and a lot of great players up there. So
yeah, I was trying to share it with the screen, but it's not letting me do that right now. But for anyone trying to see it, it's a brutal hit to the head. I was like, that is rough to see.
Yeah.
For Dustin Johnson, and for the fan more than anything. That was a brutal thing. Circling back to fighting at this point in boxing. This kind of goes a little bit more into pop culture. Internet personality / YouTuber Jake Paul recently just said that he's going to have a boxing match against former UFC fighter Ben Askren. Ben Askren, I frankly know him as the guy who got his ass kicked by Jorge Masvidal in literally less than 4 seconds in the octagon. It's pretty crazy. I mean, Jake Paul's last fight was when he knocked Nate Robinson out cold in the Mike Tyson fight. Askren is probably the best guy for Jake to be fighting, because I looked at his game, and I mean, his hands really aren't that impressive. He was mostly a wrestler in the UFC, and he really just got wins by trying to wrestle you and choke you out. This is probably the best matchup you could see for him. So while I think that Askren, being a professional fighter, is going to have its benefits, this could actually be a much closer fight than anticipated, which is kind of scary. The fact that Jake Paul might have a good shot against a UFC fighter.
I hope Jake Paul gets knocked in the teeth.
Oh, I do too. I do too. I mean, I also hate Ben Askren, so it's kind of a mixed bag. But I think Jake Paul's been talking a lot of smack so far, and I think finally having a professional fighter knock some sense into him might show him some humility, and might be like, all right, that you can't just get into fighting like in literally less than 6 months. It takes a lot of time to become a champ, and to become and to really get good at the sport. It takes a lot.
Yeah. Carter, you were saying something?
No.
No. All right. And then I guess, and that kind of covers a lot of stuff in the UFC. Finally, before we end up going down to the wire, I wanted to talk some pop culture. Tyler, you kind of have a personal investment in this. We found out recently that essentially you can do the Grand Theft Auto Infinite Money glitch in real life, when a bunch of Redditors, basically just boosted a bunch of stocks in the stock market, including GameStop, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry, and it was a great thing at first. I mean, GameStop was trading at around $300 when they were at $5 at the start of the pandemic. But then the app Robinhood that allows a lot of these guys to trade. They basically just said you can no longer trade on the market, and they forcefully tanked the stock. I mean, there's a lot of craziness going on. Tyler, what was your thought on that whole situation when GameStop and AMC kind of did all that?
Listen, I'm not going to go into crazy detail. We could talk about this for the next hour, but shout out the little guys for finally taking it to the big hedge funds and finally getting some of the people's money. And on top of that, too, if you're going to pick a brokerage, make sure you look at the balance sheets and make sure they got trillions of dollars to